This Etsy post caught my eye for a couple of reasons. One, the content of the original message, but two, the hundreds of people in the comments saying that it's so easy to make $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 a month. And I'm here to debunk that, break this post down, and tell you what is actually possible selling on Etsy. So, hi, I'm Daisha. Welcome if you're new, or welcome back if you've been here before. I talk about running my small business out of the shop in my house. I talk about just advice in general on marketing, how I make products, and I make all the mistakes so you don't have to make them first. So if that interests you, then please come along. So I want to talk about this post that I saw in an Etsy group on Facebook. So basically, it's just a group for sellers to talk, help, get advice. People share their shops, get critiques, things like that. So this is what the post says. I'll put it on the screen. Has anyone made $1,000 a month selling on Etsy? If so, what helped you reach that goal? What strategies did you use to get there? I currently have an Etsy shop that has been open for 3 months now. Right now, I have 3 listings, but I only made 1 sale. And you can see from the reactions, there are some people laughing. And so let's just start here. You've only been open for 3 months and you only have 3 listings. So that means the people that do see your shop, they have to like one of those 3 things to buy it. So obviously, if you're fishing in a pond and there's only 3 fish, it's going to be a lot harder to catch a fish versus if you're fishing in a pond with 300 fish or 100 fish, right? So off the rip, the number of listings is going to limit how much you can make in the first place. Because I've said this before about my best sellers versus what doesn't sell. If I only made 3 listings and they were all stickers, I'd still be in the same spot too. Okay. We are going to get into some other things that people said that were also wrong, but let's just start there. And I think there's so many factors into can you make $1,000 a month, right? What are you selling? Are people searching for what you're selling? Like, do you have a specific niche? How are your items created? Right now, people are not loving AI. Like, if it's AI generated products for art or like t-shirts, things like that, people are not loving that, especially if you can tell. So if that's what your shop is, which I'm not saying hers is, I don't know. I didn't actually look too much into it. I just kind of looked at the comments. Actually, I don't think she posted her shop. There are so many different factors that are playing against you. What do your photos look like? If I look at your photos and they don't look good, I might not buy from you. If I look at your photos and they're edited with AI, I might think that the product is too. So there are so many factors that can get you to that $1,000. And I don't know exactly her journey, but a lot of people are messing up in one of those places. Also, you have to remember that Etsy is a marketplace, it is a search engine. So people are typing things in. If your keywords are not things that people are typing in, no one's going to find you in the first place, right? And if you're not doing any kind of marketing, driving any kind of outside traffic, and then you're also not being found, 1 plus 1 equals 2. Like, those 2 things together means you're not going to get any sales. So I thought that was just an interesting question. But again, somebody even pointed out in the comments, without context, without knowing what you're selling, is also going to make a big difference. People that are making products that are higher priced, it's going to be easier for you to make $1,000 a month because your products are more expensive versus somebody that most of my things that I'm selling are around like $10, $15. It's going to be harder for me to get $1,000 without having a lot of sales. So it all just depends. But I just thought that was interesting. And so I also thought the comments were interesting too. I was just going to talk about the comments in general, but now I think I might actually try to pull them up. So like I said, I opened the comment section on the post and everybody is like, oh yeah, it's so easy. I make $5,000 a month easy, $12,000, $20,000, $50,000. And my question to these people, why are you still just selling on Etsy? If you're truly making that much money and you're driving that much traffic, why are you not marketing on other social media platforms and having your own website? Why are you paying the fee to Etsy? Not saying they're lying, but that's just interesting. I don't think all of them are telling the exact truth. And like, you don't know how much they're running in ads. You don't know how much ad spend they are spending. You don't know what they have going on. You don't know how many listings they have. You don't know how long they've been selling, what their niche is. Like if they're super specific and something that's like low competition, high search results, they're going to rank better than somebody. If you're selling stickers, I'm sorry, you're not about to get, you know what I mean, to that point. without having a very unique sales proposition. I saw somebody say, like, I did really well last month and hit $7,000, but I sell seasonal items and they're patriotic. So, like, the 4th of July just passed. What are you going to do the rest of the year? So, I feel like it's very surface level when you just say, I made $20,000 a month. There's a lot more that goes into it. And I actually appreciated the person that said that specifically I have patriotic items because it gave me a better scope of like what they're doing. All right. This person says, I've been selling 3 months and I'm hitting 12,000 to 14, not 12,000, 1,200 to 1,400 in net profit a week. They're telling them to list consistently, try to get 50 or so listings to start, sell what people actually want to buy. This takes research, add videos, pack your titles with keywords, ship on time, care about what you're selling, which I do agree, and work on your Etsy like it's a full-time job, even if you already have one. And I do agree with most of that. However, depending on what you're selling, if it's oversaturated, like stickers, like I've talked about before, it's going to take a lot of work to find something that no one else is doing. So, like, if you're listing 50 products, but it's products that no one's buying, you're kind of working against yourself. But she does say, like, it takes research to see what other people are actually going to buy. This one says, we do that and more. We put everything through Etsy in the beginning. Our highest averages were $42,000 a month. List every day. Best advice I have. I don't know about that because if your listings are not good, you're pumping things out. Like if you're listing every day, that means you're probably not creating the things. You're probably using AI. I don't think that's the best process for things that people are actually going to want to buy. Because if I go in your shop and I see something like I just bought a sweatshirt, I'm waiting for it to come in, and it says minding my own small business or something like that. I specifically wanted something that I could tell was made by a human, right? So if you're just listing, it kind of, unless you just have a lot of time, that's going to be difficult. This comment I thought was interesting. I'm gonna put this one on the screen too. She said, I would be so depressed at $1,000 a month. Do you know how happy I was last month? That's crazy. Probably 60,000 a month in Q4 and other months, between 20 and 35,000 the other months, I guess. More listings, literally almost always the answer to low sales, but also you have to have the gift of figuring out what people want to buy. And here's a tip. It's almost never what you personally like, which she does have a point there. Sometimes like what you want is not what everybody else wants. But I just thought it was so crazy to say that at $1,000 you'd be depressed when the person literally just said they've only made one sale. The other thing about the group is no one ever actually tells anybody what they sell, which I get it. You don't want to like let your you don't want to let your competitors like steal your ideas. But I just think it's interesting that no one ever shares their shop. No one ever wants to tell what they sell. So it's like you can't even back up all the claims that they're making because it's so gate kept. Like no one wants to talk about it. With this post especially, there's biases, right? Me as a smaller creator, I made, what did we say? If you watch the June revenue video, then in June from Etsy, I made $1,200. Why would I get on there and comment that, hey, like I'm a smaller seller, you can do it. I made $1,200 when all these other people are saying I made 30 and 40,000 and blah, blah, blah. It makes people that do have a slower start not even want to comment because why would I want to in a pool that looks like that? Do you know what I mean? Like we're still figuring things out. Like some people had a quiet month. Some people just don't want to comment. Like I really don't comment in the group. I just kind of lurk around and like see what I can learn and just pay attention. But not everybody's commenting. And to me, if you did, it was because you wanted to flex what you have. Which again, I'm not a hater. I'm happy for anybody who is doing these things. But it's something you have to remind yourself that it is a small pool of data because it's only the people that wanted to share those numbers. Another thing I noticed, all of the posts at the top are the ones saying how much money they made and how it was a lot. All the posts at the bottom are the people saying like, oh, how did you guys do it? What did you guys do? And that's where the people are actually sharing their shops and trying to get advice. So one person said, can you check my store? Do you think people would buy these or are there just too many of these on the market? And when you look at her shop, obviously not going to share it, it is a lot of things that you can tell are made by AI. And somebody said, I would push the ones you made with letters. It's a saturated market And the circle ones with the pictures resemble AI art. There's just too many like that. And then somebody else says AI art, people don't like it. They want to see the real thing, which I agree. So apparently it seems like she does have items that she made, but then she also has AI ones, and somebody's telling her to push the ones you made to the top because they're going to do better. So overall, there are some nuggets in this post, but I think it's just a good reminder that this is not a sprint. This is typically not something that's going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen very quickly. You're going to have to put in the work. You're going to have to do your research and plan and post and market yourself. This is not something that's going to just happen overnight. You're not just going to open a shop and then all these people flood in to want to buy from you. Okay. Like you got to remember, this is kind of like Etsy. Think of it like the mall, and everybody has their little storefront. And you're just trying to get people that are walking past in the mall to come into your little store. And honestly, Etsy is a much bigger scale than that because there are hundreds of thousands of shops. I don't know how many sellers there are on Etsy. And you're having to compete with all of those, especially the ones in your niche. So, how are you going to get them to walk into your shop? In conclusion, is it possible to make $1,000 in a month on Etsy? Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, I do believe some of these people are telling the truth, if not all of them. And I have made over $1,000 a month. But some of these people are definitely downplaying how easy it is, how much work they had to put in, and how long it took them to get there. So if you want some more tips on how to actually get your shop to that, make sure you check out some of my other videos. I have videos on SEO, making titles, updating photos, doing content, all of those things. And then if you have anything you want to see in the future, please let me know. Leave me a comment below. Make sure you like and subscribe so you can see whatever I have coming out next. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.